We just had this conference here that was talking about the crisis pregnancy centers and how they've served the United States for quite a while now, and we look at this as sort of the best kept secret or the worst kept secret. What can you say about that, and how is this going to change, let's say, with this report about getting the message of life pregnancy centers out there?
Well, there are 3,000 pregnancy resource centers nationwide, so virtually every community across the country has a pregnancy resource center. So I'm not so sure it's the best kept secret is the best way to describe it. It is not known in the secular world particularly, but certainly churches in every community know about their pregnancy resource centers. The best thing we can do is just keep talking about it, word of mouth, and events like this that get the word out, and more people are going to learn about them.
Well, definitely if you go to the public schools, they don't have anything on the bulletin board that says call here for your local pregnancy center. It's something that should be in there, though, shouldn't it?
Yeah, some schools do it. Depends on how aggressive the pregnancy resource center is in marketing themselves to the public schools. Some are doing very well with that, others are not. And then there's also the issue of others don't want them in there because they're pro-life. And Planned Parenthood will come into the schools and give their spiel, but a pregnancy resource center is not allowed in. So there are some difficulties and challenges to meet on that particular issue.
Well, one of the individuals, I believe was a person from AP Radio, he had asked the question about what would happen if this would be federally funded. Then would these organizations have to provide referrals to people to go to abortion facilities? Well, it's not as if they have to, Planned Parenthood has to provide referrals for pregnancy centers, do they?
No. The issue of referring for abortion now, right as it stands now, that's not the case. They do not have to refer for abortion, but there's always a hook when you get government funds. And particularly with this administration, I'd be very, very concerned about taking any government money because they'll have some type of hook. It may be that if you get federal funds, this administration allows pregnancy resource centers to get federal funds, they will have a requirement that they must refer for abortion. So we've got to be very careful right now.
Well, at the same time, I have to say that I would actually say, look at what would happen then. If they say, okay, well, you require us to do it, Planned Parenthood gets $350 million out of federal funds, then they should be required to refer people to pregnancy centers.
Yeah, that's a good argument, except life isn't fair, and right. The rules don't apply equally across the board. Planned Parenthood does a lot of things and gets away with a lot of things that the pregnancy resource centers could never get away with. So it isn't an even playing field.
Well, and that said, with this being an outreach that is very Christian-oriented in general, if there were federal funds, then that would also be a dynamic that would change most likely as well.
That's right, and there's, like I said, there's always a hook when you get federal money. And my concern would be for our pregnancy centers, particularly the evangelical ones, that are sharing the gospel and sharing their Christian faith with the clients. And federal money could come saying if you get federal money, you cannot do that. And so I just think there's a lot of problems when you receive government money, period.
How do people find out more about what you do in your organization?
They can go to our website. It's NIFLA, NIFLA.org. National Institute of Family and Life Advocates, NIFLA.org.
And as Milo of 30 Seconds says, I don't know if you know who he is, if you were to sum it up and tell the folks out there in 30 seconds, why would people be interested in the things that you have to offer?
Well, we exist providing legal resources so that pregnancy resource centers can exist and operate effectively and legally within the bounds of the law, and therefore can provide alternatives to abortion and save lives.